All eyes are on Vietnam right now as President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un are meeting for a second time. Joining me this morning to talk about this highly awaited summit is political science professor from Wright State University, Dr. Laura Lerman. I think the first thing that we need to discuss is how did we get here?
As Kim this morning reminded us, it was only 261 days that they had that meeting in Singapore. This was just right before I left for the studio this morning. They were highlighting that. So this is a very important follow-up to that highly symbolic meeting that we had in Singapore. That meeting was very high on symbolism, but very low on substance. And while there were a couple of symbolic actions that Kim has taken since that meeting in Singapore, even Vice President Pence just a couple of weeks ago acknowledged there's been no strongly verifiable actions to denuclearize or even lower the nuclear weapons program in North Korea since then. So that's the task ahead of us.
As I say, it's a little concerning. You keep calling this a symbolic meeting from Singapore. Has much changed, really?
Very little has changed. And in fact, the intelligence community has been stating time and time again, and a little bit louder in recent weeks, that North Korea will not give up its nuclear weapons program. This is key to the survival of Kim Jong-un, and that's really his priority. His personal survival and his regime survival are both very closely connected to this nuclear weapons program. He's not going to be giving that up. So what sort of substance we can expect from this? We need to have some verifiable acts. And we've been saying this all along, right, for the discussions for the last year and a half.
Right. And really, we did hear President Trump and Kim Jong-un, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, speak a little bit before their private meeting. Things have been really hush-hush about what's happening and when they're meeting and how they're meeting and what they're going to be discussing. I mean, what do you anticipate coming out of this?
Well, we hope they've been very hush-hush, even trying to find a schedule of what was going to take place and who was going to participate, because that's really important as well. Has been very, very... Priority-wise, President Trump is going to want to have some commitment to try to at least verify what weapons exist. If you notice, President Trump has also been lowering expectations, which I do think is important, and I think it's also a very wise step. Lowering expectations of what can be achieved. He stated a couple of times, we're not on a timeline, we're not in a rush, we just don't want any more testing. We also need to have some roadmap forward. So we've had the symbolism, right? Singapore was, all the cameras were going off and it was highly important. Now we need the substance. That's not as exciting. It's not going to be as headline grabbing. But we also, before we can start talking about denuclearization, we need to figure out what that means. That'd be the most important thing. And I would say it would be a success if we can verify that. Also, we need to have some commitment that North Korea is going to be able to provide some sort of list of what exists. What are the testing sites? Where are the programs? Who's involved? We actually don't have very much belief or hope that that's going to happen. It's also important to note, since 1994, North Korea has promised 20 times to denuclearize. What does it mean?
Yeah, what does it mean? Hopefully we'll find that out in the next day and a half. I know you're going to be back on our morning show tomorrow at the same time, same place. So thank you so much, Dr. Laura Lerman from Wright State University. We appreciate it. 7:35 our time right now.